DevEye is a tool for monitoring bus factor using commit history. It's a tool designed to compute and visualize the bus factor of a software project based on the commit history from a version control system. So we mainly use Git, which is the most popular and common version control system, to keep track of a project's evolution over time. So we're able to track who changed the file, what changes were made, what files were added. So all that information, we are able to get it through Git. And DevEye is a CLI tool, command line tool, which uses Git to obtain that metadata and then computes the bus factor and then uses the web browser to visualize the results. So how do we run DevEye? So actually it's pretty simple. The first thing you have to do is you have to just copy this command, npx. Actually, yeah, it's a node package, and to run it, you basically just have to run that command, npx -y DevEye. So you can just copy it. And then you can go to your project repository. In this case, I'm giving an example using the Facebook React repository. So you just need to type your command and just press enter and just wait for the tool to run. So the first step, it actually runs the configuration, which it automatically creates a file for you if you don't have the configuration file. So if you open that, you'll see we have time range, which is basically how far back the tool should look. Let's say today is 2024. So if I say 4 years, it will mean the tool should compute the bus factor from 4 years ago until today. So that is 2020 until 2024. And then ownership percentage, this is basically the percentage of which a developer is considered a bus factor. So let's say in this case the default is 50%. So if a developer has 50% ownership of a project, like if they own at least 50% of files, then they are considered bus factors. And we have one more, which is potential bus factors. So if at least they own 20% of the project, if at least they have 20% of the project, if at least they are authors of 20% of the project but less than 50%, then we consider them as future bus factor. And this is very important. These two are very important because the rate here, based on the rate, you get different results. So in this case, 50%, if you don't have developers who have 50% ownership, then you won't get any bus factors. Or if you don't have developers who have 20% ownership, then you won't get any future bus factors. So these two values can be changed based on your requirements and needs. And also this is basically just for the time range. 10 years ago, 5 years ago, actually not 5 years ago, it's like 4 years from today backwards. So 2024, 23, 22, 21, 20. That's what it means here. So now the result is done and automatically opens the visualization. So now if we check it, we get this report. So our repository name and then analysis time is start date and end date, as you can see here, 2020 to 2024, which is basically, okay, let me just put this down here, which is basically the 4 years time range we specified here. And then here we can see the top contributors, and then here we don't have any bus factors for this project, surprisingly. We don't have, actually, which is pretty nice. Actually, the goal is not to have any dependencies. And then, but we have some potential bus factors who are coming up here. So you can actually just click on the bar chart and you can see who are actually the future bus factors.